What's going on, y'all? I'm Czar, and I want to show you Brightness Panner and Energy Panner from Sound Particles. These are two plugins that excel at creating movement in your mixes and productions in a unique way. So the names are pretty self-explanatory for these plugins. We'll start with Brightness Panner. This is going to pan your sound according to brightness, and you can do that either by the pitch or the brightness or the frequency, and you can also do it by MIDI. Looking at Energy Panner, this is going to pan your sound depending on when it crosses a threshold. So you see we have our threshold here, we've got a ratio. Once it crosses that threshold, it's going to then start to apply the panning effects. So I'm using Brightness Panner and Energy Panner in this track here, and I'm going to play it and show you what it's doing, and then we'll go over the controls for it. So starting with Brightness Panner, I have on this track here. And without Brightness Panner, it sounds like this. And then Energy Panner, I'm using on this track. All right, let's take a look at the controls now. So I'm going to use a instance that I'm not using here. So starting with Brightness Panner, if you, starting on the left, you have your starting position. And if you hover over these, if you look here at the bottom, it's going to show you, it's really helpful help menu there, showing you which each of these parameters do. So you have your start position here. Here you can control the movement. Looking at the right side, you got your wet and dry. You've got a output, your master output, and then your main controls here going across this bottom. So right now we're set to pitch. We can use this to control the pitch where it's going to start panning. Looking at brightness, we can control the frequency. And then we also have attack and release over here on the right side. And then your randomize, these dice series is going to create just random parameters and settings. And looking up the top, you got a choice between pan and sliding. So pan, of course, is going to go from left to right, where sliding, it will slide from left to right. All right, looking over at Energy Panner, same thing. We got the pan and sliding there at the top. Familiar start position here, same as well as with the movement, except here now we have a threshold and ratio for controlling the panning effect. We can also side chain it, and we've got our attack and release here. So let's take a look at how Brightness Panner works. So starting with the pitch here. So as you cross the pitch, it's going to start to pan. So I'm going to, let's go to pan here and play it, and I'm going to adjust the pitch here so you can see how it reacts. So that's panning, and this is sliding. So sliding moves more in a 360 motion. And then with the sliding, we have the ability to slow it down. So that's pitch. Let's move over to brightness. So this is going to create the panning effect based off the frequency. We'll leave it at sliding for now. And pan. And now let's look at the movement. So we have the option to move to speakers and move to a point. So we've been at move to point. Now let's go to move to speakers. And sliding. Okay, let's do the same thing with Energy Panner now. So with Energy Panner, we'll go to move to speakers, and let's bring the threshold up, and then we will lower it. All right, so that was sliding. Let's go to pan. All right, and then the options below here, we can move clockwise or counterclockwise. So I'm going to play this now. Let's close these instances, make sure they're bypassed. And I'm going to play this now play the whole track here with Brightness Panner and Energy Panner on, and then I'll turn it off so you can hear the immediate difference of what it's doing. All right, so there is a look at Energy Panner and Brightness Panner. As you can hear, they are great at creating movement, and like I said, it does it in a very unique way by using the brightness or pitch and also using the energy of the signal. I've got a link in the description if you want to check these out and learn more about them. I'll have 3 links. One will be for Energy Panner, one will be for Brightness Panner, and I'll also have a link for a bundle. You can get these together in a bundle if you choose to. All right, any questions, comments, let me know, and I'll catch y'all next time. I want to invite you to check out my podcast, the Faders Up Podcast, where we discuss pro audio and beyond. We discuss everything from recording to gear to the music business. So if you're an audio engineer, songwriter, recording artist, music producer, this podcast is for you. We recently started season 2, and we're going to have a lot of listener questions on this season, as well as some really cool guests that's lined up and giveaways as well. So if you've already subscribed and followed the podcast, thank you. If you haven't, it's available on all platforms, and I encourage you to check it out. Also, rate it and review it and let us know what you think.